Hi, my name is Megan and I've been making interactive floor and wall experiences for over 20 years. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to use the fog reveal template to make something really cool. And the experience that is inspiring this is one of our very oldest experiences. It was created in 2011 using Flash, and people still use it. And lately, we've been receiving word that it's not working that well, and because it was made in Flash, there's no way for us to update it. So I'm using the fog reveal template to create something very similar, kind of in the same vein. It's a sensory app, and it causes colors to appear when you move. So I hope that you like it. It's a very simple experience to create. This is absolutely something that you can make yourself. So if you want, you can follow along and I'll show you exactly what I did, and you can download LUMOplay at lumoplay.com and try it for yourself. LUMOplay free is available one per person if you want to just try out the tools and do a quick evaluation and see how the software works. And then we sell Lumo Playground at cost for educators and small businesses who just want to get started. You can download that from our site whenever you're ready. If you have any questions about hardware or what you need in order to do one of these installations, please feel free to contact me or leave a comment. I respond to every comment I get, and I look forward to hearing from you. So to make this plasma effect, the only thing I really needed to do was prepare two versions of the same video. And what I did was I went to Adobe Stock because they're having kind of a special where you get up to 3 4K videos for free for the first month. And I signed up and I downloaded 3 videos and immediately canceled my stock subscription. I don't question the ethics of this, you might, but I think that if you're just experimenting with LUMOplay, this is an excellent way to get some really high quality video. Also, there's some really weird stuff on that stock site. A lot of very random AI, but that's a topic for another conversation. This video showed up when I searched for plasma, which is the name of our old effect. And so I decided to kind of look for that type of experience or that kind of aesthetic for the new version of this sensory app that I wanted to make. And I really like the way that the colors change over time. And it was also nice because this was a seamless loop. The problem was that the loop was very short, so I had to make a much longer version of it. In this case, I made a 3-minute long version, but you could probably just do a 1-minute long version. There is a limit to the custom apps that you make. I think that it's 2 gigs total, but you don't necessarily want to go that high. It's better if your videos are somewhat compressed and definitely set to the resolution of your final display. So although I downloaded this video at 4K, because my display is only running at 1920 by 1200, I didn't actually need to save it. And in fact, the installations that are going to use this effect the most often are 1920 by 1080. So that's what I ended up making the final video at. And I looped it, and it looks really good. And so this is going to be my background video, the video that gets revealed when somebody moves. And the foreground video is basically the same video with the contrast bumped up and the lightness decreased. So you can see it's basically black and white, and it just gives you kind of these nice crinkly effects so that there's always something moving on the floor even when nobody's playing. And so yeah, all I did was export these. I adjusted the target bitrate a little bit on the colored version, especially to bring the size down. I tried to get both of my videos under 250 megs because for me that works well for all of my systems. If you have an older system or something that's not as powerful, then you might need to make shorter videos that are even more compressed. But this worked out well for me. I uploaded both of these videos to Dropbox and moved them over to my other machine. And now we can go over there and I'll show you how I imported them into LUMOplay to create the final effect. So now that I have prepared my videos for the plasma effect, I'm going to go to the template that I want to use to create this new effect. It's called Fog Reveal. and you'll find it in the Motion Maker section of your LUMOplay desktop app. I just need to click create. If you haven't downloaded the template yet, you'll need to do that first. And once I click create, this template will take over my entire screen. If I want to test what I'm building on an interactive floor while I'm building it, I can absolutely do that. All I need to do is attach the design computer that I'm using to a projection and set that projection as the display for the test screen, and then I'll actually be able to walk across it and see what the effect looks like before I publish my effect. So if you're a professional agency and you're building something for a client, you should absolutely have a design machine that is set up to a final installation so that you can test every step of the way before you publish your app, and also so that you can give demonstrations to your clients. This also prevents you from having to have two different licenses, one for the installation machine and one for the design machine. I know that's not practical for everybody, but if you can do that, then that's the easiest way to design this stuff. I'm not going to be using any overlays in this effect. The overlays are great as call to actions. If you want to have an invitation to come and step on the floor or touch the wall, you can put that in as a text or a graphic and then have it disappear when people start engaging. The overlays are also where you would put in a logo. So if you wanted to have a logo that's persistent on the screen, that's where you would put it. But I'm not going to be using that. And I'm actually going to skip the second settings, the fog settings, until I put in my final images. Now with the fog reveal, you can use images or you can use videos. And so what I've done here is created something where I have one video on top of another, and it reveals the color in the second video when somebody moves. So by default, the fog settings are going to be pretty tiny, and they kind of leave this really, really long trail, and that's not really the effect that I'm going for. So I'm going to adjust these fog settings now. I want to make the size quite a bit bigger, and I also want to bump up the blur. So I'm going to pull the blur up, and now it's going to give me a much bigger area, but I don't want it to last on the screen quite that long. So I'm going to turn the duration down just a little bit. And what that does is it creates this really nice, it's almost like a moving spotlight. And that's the effect I'm going for. So now that I have it where I want it, I can just give it a name. I'm going to call it Rainbow Plasma. And I'm going to click save. I like to just play with it a little bit before I click save. That way, sometimes it'll save a nicer thumbnail. It didn't in this case, so I'm going to go in and update the thumbnail to make it a little more colorful after this. But once I'm done, I just click publish. Now I've already published my final version of this app while I was testing it, so I'm not going to say okay here, but it will give you a warning that the watermark is going to be removed when you publish it, and you will no longer be able to edit it. So if you're still making changes, just save it in your drafts folder, go back to it. If you're ready to publish it, you can click OK, and it'll upload the graphics that you're working with locally to our server and apply all of the computer vision code to your effect and put it in your account. And it'll then become available in every single LUMOplay installation that you own. So if you have multiple installations, you'll be able to access this and play it from any of your licenses. So this is my final effect on my touchscreen, and it's very nice. I really, really like the way that this feels and looks. I think as a sensory app, it's going to be really, really compelling. And it's definitely a lot better than the old app, which, you know, was really chunky, didn't work super well. Here, I'll show you. So, I mean, it's just very pixelated. It's kind of a cool concept, and maybe one day we'll revisit this. But unfortunately, because this app is Flash, it doesn't work well, and it has some weird glitchy effects, especially when a lot of people are moving at once, or as you saw on my floor, sometimes it just randomly resizes. So I'm very happy that we have a new sensory effect to take its place, and that it will give people an experience that is really fun to explore, really colorful, and doesn't have all of those weird side effects related to being very old code. I hope you enjoyed this week's tutorial, and I really look forward to hearing your thoughts about the new app, and I would love for you to let me know if there are any other old apps in our library that need to be updated, or if there's anything missing from our library that you'd like to see us add. If you have any questions, you can reach me at info@lumoplay.com, and as always, leave a comment, like, subscribe. Anything that you do to engage with this video really helps my friends and I a lot. We're a very small team and we sell our software largely at cost, so we really need your help to reach the people who need to use this software in classrooms and sensory labs and people that are working with children. So if you have any friends who are teachers or anyone who works with special needs kids, please let them know about us, and I'll see you next week for another tutorial. Yeah, this is pretty broken. It used to be better, I swear. Man, I miss ActionScript.